I'm Andrea Dunlop. So last week's video, I talked about the importance of really showing up for Black authors in our community this summer and going forward. So today I wanted to share a list of 10 novels that I'm either currently reading by Black authors or that I've pre-ordered to read later this summer when they come out. And I talked a little bit in the last video about the importance of pre-orders, so go back and check that out if you haven't seen it yet. So I just want to say again in this video that I understand that the onus should not be on readers to fix publishing's problems around race and representation. And of course, those things are going to take time to fix, and I'm going to dig into those in the upcoming videos that I'm shooting for you guys. But I think it's very exciting that we have the power as readers and as kind of the Bookstagram community and fellow authors to really make a shift in the publishing industry right now by making sure that books that are coming out this summer, coming from Black authors in particular, just absolutely kill it. You know, those numbers and those sales tracks will really help those who in the industry who are trying to move things in the right direction. That will give them a lot of firepower. So let's go ahead and do that. And in the spirit of that, that's why I've put together this list, and also just because I wanted to share some really fun summer reading recommendations with you guys. So needless to say, there are dozens of books out by Black authors right now that are new and upcoming to choose from. There's been a lot of attention paid to the nonfiction side. You know, books like How to Be an Anti-Racist, So You Want to Talk About Race, Wait Fragility, you know, those have been selling out everywhere, which I think is a wonderful and hopeful sign. But I think, you know, fiction is equally as important. I think fiction is one of the best ways that we can really empathize with each other, that we can relate to each other. So I think that this is definitely an important part of the conversation also. And also I just think fiction is what I tend to read, you know, when I'm sort of looking for sort of fun summer reads. Okay, so of course these books also reflect my personal taste. This is all of the stuff I like, you know, a little bit of mystery, some suspense, a little bit of historical fiction, a bit of romance, complicated women, generational secrets, you know, all stuff that's right up my alley. So these are also all books that you will probably like if you are a fan of my work. Okay, so away we go. So first up is a book that I just read a couple of weeks ago that came out in June called Clap When You Land. This is an incredible YA novel in verse by the extremely talented Elizabeth Acevedo. I absolutely devoured this book about two sisters, one who lives in the Dominican Republic, the other one who lives in New York City, who don't find out about each other until the father that they share dies in a plane crash on his way from New York to the Dominican Republic. This book was so compelling, so beautiful. I would have read it in one sitting if that was the kind of thing that I could do in my life with a toddler. Sadly, I can't, but that's how I recommend reading it. Do not miss this one. The other one is one that, the next one is one that I am reading currently that I'm sure I will be done reading by the time this video comes out. I'm loving it so far. That's The Vanishing Half by Britt Bennett. So this is the second book by Britt Bennett. I loved her first book, The Mothers. This book came out in June. It debuted at #1 on the New York Times bestseller list. Such a well-deserved accomplishment. So exciting to see. So this is a generational saga that traces the fates of two twin sisters who escape their home in the South at 16, and they are light-skinned Black women. One of them sort of disavows her past and goes on to live as a white woman. And it's the story of how, you know, their lives unfold. So again, kind of generational saga, family secrets, always here for that kind of thing. Can't wait to read the rest of it. So the next book up on my list is a really fun one called A Song Below Water by Bethany C. Morrow. So this is a fantasy novel about two best friends who are also sirens or mermaids, whichever terminology you want to go with. You know, someone's probably going to jump in here and tell me all the ways that those two things are actually really different. But anyway, they live in Portland, Oregon. So it takes place in the Pacific Northwest. And that was really just enough to sell me on the concept. And also I saw this on Emily Henry's Instagram and she highly recommends it. She is of course the author of Beach Read, which is another great fun summer book. Okay, so next on my list is a novel called Tiny Imperfections. This one came out in May. It's from writing duo Ali Frank and Asha Humans. So this is billed as Devil Wears Prada meets Class Moms. It's about parental shenanigans at a high-end school in San Francisco. Always here for that kind of thing. Sounds like so much fun. Can't wait. So the next on my list is another debut that came out in June, Saving Ruby King by Catherine Adele West. So this book follows a young woman on the south side of Chicago whose mother is brutally murdered, leaving her at home with her violent pastor father, who then insists that she can no longer speak to her best friend Lila, and you find out that their families have this generational sort of secrets and angst that goes back many years. So I am always here for sort of generational family secrets. This one sounds really, really good. I've been hearing really good things over on Bookstagram, so can't wait to read it. Okay, so those are 5 that are out right now. So my next part of my list is all books that I have pre-ordered that I am excited to read later this summer. So the first up is Party of Two by Jasmine Guillory. She's probably someone that needs no introduction to all of you. Her books such as The Wedding Date have been extremely popular. So this one follows our heroine Olivia Monroe as she moves to LA to start her own law practice, and though love is not on her radar, she meets a hotshot young senator called Max Powell, and romance and drama ensue. So this sounds kind of like, you know, election season, but make it fun and sexy instead of scary. Okay, so the next one that I'm super excited about that's coming in August is Luster by Raven Leilani. So this is a coming of age story about a struggling 20-something who gets involved in an open marriage, but one with rules, with an autopsist and her husband. This one sounds so weird and cool. I am so excited to read it. So the next one is a September release, and this is Transcendent Kingdom by Ya Jessie. So I'm sure you've heard of Ya Jessie's first book, Homegoing. It was everywhere when it came out, and has been on just a ton of lists, won a ton of prizes. So Transcendent Kingdom is about a Ghanaian family living in Alabama, where our heroine Giffy is studying neuroscience to try and explore some of the, you know, tragedies and depressions that have befallen her family. So this sounds like another really deep sort of intergenerational drama. Really excited to read it. So the next two on my list are both suspense reads. So the first is When No One Is Watching by Alyssa Cole. This one is also out in September, and thanks to Taryn Fisher for first putting this on my radar. So this is the third book by Alyssa Cole, but her first time writing in this genre. So this is about a gentrifying neighborhood in Brooklyn and is billed as Rear Window meets Get Out, which sounds very, very scary. I'm sure this is going to be a kind of stay up all night reading it and can't sleep after sort of a book, but can't wait to read it. And the last on my list, you know, for now, is also a September release, and that is And Now She's Gone by Rachel Housel Hall. This is about a woman who up and disappears from her life, and the detective that's hired to go and find her, even though she may not want to be found. So it's a story about complicated women and sort of a cat and mouse suspense game. So these are just a few books that I'm really excited to read. I recommend you guys go and check these out. Again, can't stress enough, pre-orders are really important. It's become easier than ever to pre-order books online from indies using bookshop.org. And again, you know, if you can find, also, you know, important to support all indie bookstores right now, but especially those Black-owned indies like the Lit Bar in New York City, Semicolon, Books in Chicago, and, you know, dozens of others. So, okay, thank you so much. Let me know what you guys are excited to read and what's on your lists for the summer.